Okay, we are back. We're gonna work on part 3 of our little summer cottage build inspired by the floor plan of the house that I grew up in. Last time we did general landscaping, but I did work on it I was gonna say off stream. We do stream Tuesdays at 7 p.m. vibes. Off camera. And I made the landscaping a little more like overgrown, a little more like cottage, Hempford on Bagby-esque. And I also worked on the backyard. So we'll pour through that and then we're gonna work on the kitchen and dining and then potentially also the guest bath on that little side of the house. That's the goal today. I also am in the process of redecorating my apartment. So listen, there's some blank spots. I'm not one of those like beige people that doesn't hang things on their walls. My apartment doesn't echo. I promise you that. We're just a work in progress. What you cannot see, there's a lot going on. There's a lot going on off camera. And then also it's a beautiful day here in the Midwest, so the window is open. So you're gonna hear the sensual sounds of downtown Ohio, okay? But yes, we're gonna work on our little summer cottage today. I'm so excited to build. Okay, so like I said, I made the landscaping like a little bit more like overgrown with some like grasses, flowers, got some ivy on the thing. I also went into debug. I know I said I hate going into debug, but I went into debug to get the stepping stones because the house I grew up in had stepping stones. And I also used these little like packages from debug as like little stones to line the sidewalk. I'm not sure if Sims can step over them or not. I don't really know. Shiver thinks I'm on a Zoom call, so he's immediately gonna get in my way. Okay, and now coming into the backyard. So like I said, our little patio when I was growing up, it was just like a big chunk of cement, so we tried to honor that. And then like I said, they cut down the oak tree and it fell and like cracked the thing, so I put the crack in there. Also, we had like a little table, a simple little table with 4 chairs, and then we had this like weird, like it looked like a stone fancy like romantic looking bench, but it was actually like plastic and super lightweight. And then we had some decorations. So we had a swing set as well that my grandpa like built himself. And then we had a little garden next to it where my mom would grow sunflowers. We also had a moonflower, so I put a moon petal from the gallery. My mom also like buried one of her cats under there because when little Miss Mavis was buried under there, so we had like a little shrine for her. So that, imagine that as like a stone cat statue. And then in this corner we had like a raspberry bush. I don't have anything planted currently, so I just did like a little garden. I made like a little garden for gameplay. And then other than that, it's like you just have like a nice little yard if you want to play in this house. And so that's that. So going inside, I went in and I put in some initial wallpapers and flooring. We used to have like the little shiplap or board and batten, whatever it's called, in like this really like pale greenish color, almost similar to the outside bricks, but that was not an option based on the packs that I have. And then the wallpaper above it was like these really tiny little flowers, very similar to this, but just like very much smaller. And then over the top, there was like more wallpaper, like wallpaper banding. But this was the closest I could find. So we went and did this in the living room and then just kind of white everywhere else. And I laid this tile down because I just think it's interesting. I want to try to use it, but we'll see if I end up liking it. But today that's what we're working on. We're going to work on kitchen, this dining area, and when I was growing up, we used this as a computer room. This was a pantry in real life, but we are probably going to turn this into a guest bathroom. But I do have the new kitchen clutter kit, so maybe we can make a pantry. We'll see. And then just a reminder, the goal of this house is to make it kind of like a little bit more modern and a renovated version of a cottage. I'm thinking interiors wise, it's not going to be like the campy, like we only use cottage living and like really rustic looking interiors. So yes. And I think I want to start with the kitchen. I want this tile to work, so we'll see what happens. So immediately I'm thinking like Home Chef Hustle. I think this like pinkish colorway will work with it. And like I mentioned before, when I was growing up, we basically had wood cabinets like this, but like a light countertop. And my mom did paint them like a blue very similar to this. And the kitchen was like blue. And then there was like this orange like work table here that we had the microwave on, yellow gingham curtains. The wallpaper was like this colorful like cat pattern like wallpaper. And so it was just like a very bright and colorful room. We're gonna do something that's a little more like modernized and toned down, but I'm gonna try to put in little pops of color to kind of reference. So these are super modern, but I guess we could also do like the blue cottage living ones. I think these are a little modern feeling as well. These could still work in like a renovated, and we could also do the blue version of these, but I don't really like the backsplash. And also I use Dream Home Decorator all the time because I don't have a lot of packs installed. And there's also the blue version of the new base game updated ones. I did just use these recently in another build that I was doing, so it feels a little boring. And then I think these look like, while yes, very suburban, they also look related to this one as like a modern version of this one. I think we're gonna try cottage living because I like the wood countertops and I like that there's no backsplash. I wanted to put an end piece so we could put a bin, but I don't think that's gonna work. I don't want to give up on the linoleum, but I think I might. Okay, and then I don't know how I'm feeling about the white wall. I want to find something that has a skirting board, but only on the bottom. And I don't want to just use the cottage living. I just don't think these are right for a kitchen, in my opinion. That's my opinion. I personally think the Home Chef Hustle counter, or these are really ugly. I just don't like that pattern, but like low low-key it does give, it kind of is working. Okay, I think I like that. And then maybe I won't mind this as much once we get other appliances and things in. So like I mentioned before, the house that I grew up in, that we're taking kind of inspo from, well, that we copied the floor plan of, basically the oven was right here. There was nothing there. And then there was a refrigerator right here. And then like in theory, the basement door would have been like here. And like the back door would have been like right up on it. Like it was a very small kitchen. Like I think it was like a 9 tile if we're thinking about Sims kitchen. And then we put our trash can here and we'd like throw it over. Like we'd have to reach all the trash like over. And then there were shelves that went across here. And there was basically in this area, there were shelves that went across in the same fashion, but all the way around the entire room. And my mom had like her Beanie Baby collection that lived up there. And it was low-key fierce because they all had like props and like things that they would like sit on and sit with, and they were like in different little groups. It was really fierce. So we might try to do something similar to that and honor that. But I think in the kitchen, instead of having just like the open shelves there, I think maybe we'll do some like cabinets. So I think I'm going to do cabinets there, and then I think we'll keep the same layout. Let's do this one because it doesn't look too fancy. And then we'll put the refrigerator here. Maybe this one. I feel like this feels kind of like fancy and updated, but also not. Oh, here's the new pack refrigerator. That one's kind of fancy. I kind of like that. It's like a small little quaint fridge. Okay, some of y'all are gonna hate me, but I'm not really rocking with the cottage living. Like I said, I wanted this to be like a little bit more like modern, like a renovated interior. Okay, that's feeling a little bit better to me. I think I'm gonna change the wall tiles because the new pack did come with like a backsplash. So we can basically make our own little backsplash. It doesn't fit to the window. Okay, right, okay. Girl, okay, I think I wanna try to use the new bathroom kit tiles. I think these end pieces should just be fully built in. And I kinda like this like pink kitchen vibe that we've got going. So maybe instead of trying to honor the blue cabinets of the past, let's try to make this like pinkish work. I'm kinda drawn to this light wood. Kinda matches like the window frames. I kinda like that. Okay, listen, some of y'all are gonna hate me, but I really want this pink kitchen to work. So I did change to the Home Chef Hustle. And I feel like everyone uses Home Chef Hustle all the time, but I never use this swatch. I want the pink kitchen to work. The wood tones are kind of like wood toning, and it's just kind of working. I think we're gonna keep the Smeg inspired refrigerator instead of just doing full Home Chef Hustle. I think we'll stick with that. I'm happy with that. Now, I think this little wallpaper I want to turn into, I'm pretty sure the Book Nook wood paneling matches the paneling on the cabinets. It could be a little bit better of a match, and maybe thinner as well. Okay, this refined living room kit paneling matches better, but it's not really the like decorative vibe. Like it's super textured, so it kind of just looks like the wall is unfinished. Okay, I do like that. Let's see. I wonder if that backsplash tile can work on this opposite side. What's that filtered under? The lighting is not doing it any favors. And this is built in now, so we could use this instead of the pink tile if we wanted. The lighting in that corner is going crazy. Okay, I don't want to just tile the whole kitchen. I think that's annoying. But I think having a backsplash. Let's replace the light. Okay, we could use the new light. I don't know if that looks crazy for a kitchen. You know what? I kind of like it. Like, why not have a decorative light in the kitchen? Why not? And I do like this pink kitchen. Okay, I'm rocking with this. The color of the wall, that wall color leaves something to be desired, but we'll leave it for now because I do want it to have the skirting board. I think we should get some upper cabinets, and I think I might just do the little ones so it's not like crazy. Oh yeah, the set doesn't have a corner, so we won't be able to get a range hood like built into the cabinet. We're just not gonna have one. We're gonna act like, which I think it is, like the range hood is like built in right here. Like that's a vent, I'm pretty sure. Okay, here's the new kitchen sink from the new pack. And I think it kind of matches the hardware on this light. So it's like, should we use that for the sake of using it, or should we use the matching kind of chef sink from Home Chef Hustle? That way there's not like dishes in it, because the new kit is very lived in cluttery, whereas I want this to be, you know what, we'll stick with that, because I was gonna say I want this to be like a little more put together, but it's like the outside is just so customized to someone actually living here that the interior can be as well. So let's go ahead and put a sink there, or potentially the food bank. Let's put a sink here so we have our little triangle of access. All right, I think that dishwasher matches pretty well. Let's get a microwave. I feel like we should have a microwave, and then we'll put our bin. Actually, let's not get the microwave because we need to put our bin here because they'll have other counters to chop up on. So should we get this pink bin? I think so, babes. I think so. This kitchen's just gonna be stuff that I like don't really reach for. Swatches and things that I just like don't really ever use. But I think that's fun. Okay, we have a pink kitchen. Yes! It's a little bizarre. All right, so maybe instead of just following the floor or what we had to do when my family lived there, why is there a gap in this? Let's switch some things around because it was looking a little strange. Let's do this. I guess stove right by the refrigerator isn't ideal either, but does refrigerator right here make a little more sense maybe? Because then it more truly honors what it was, like the corner situation. And then we can actually get a range hood. Okay, I think I'm okay with that. Actually, I lied. I guess on this side we had cabinets. We had one on each side. Yeah, not me lying. Having cabinets here feels a little heavy to have them on both sides, so I think we'll do open shelves, babes. Because I feel like when people like modernize and like renovate places, open shelving, open floor plan is like a whole zhuzh. We can get these pink shelves. I think we're good on the pink, babes. I think maybe just the Home Chef Hustle wood ones, because then it'll also be easier to slot things. And we just get like a nice like beautiful wood. I don't like that going into the window. You know what? I don't find it necessary to have that. Let's get rid of that. Again, as always, I don't have a lot of packs installed, so it might be difficult for me to find curtains. That's not bad. I also just like don't like playing with curtains because I don't want them to block the light. And also all the curtains just look ridiculous. Like the proportions just seem off. Like that seems huge for a curtain. You know? Okay, I feel like everything just looks bad. We're not putting curtains. We're not. Let's maybe do like sconce lights on each side. Okay, these paranormal ones are a little camp, but I low-key like it. I don't know. There's something about it. I think like having the tile plus this plus the sconces is starting to give too much bathroom. So I think maybe the ceiling light, we just keep it simple with the classic like puck light, or we could do like a big one and just really embrace like the boob lightery of a kitchen. Yeah, I don't mind that. And the sconces, you know, a little strange. I don't know if I stan. I don't know if I stan. I thought I liked them. Something's not working. Maybe, okay, the hardware on the cabinets and on here are a different type of metal. And so I think we should try to pair that a little bit better. I want the sconce, I want to like these. And then like this section of the room is just like pitch black for some reason. All right, should we get this rose gold lamp? Okay, maybe we get this little desk lamp. All right, let's see what from the new kit we can use to kind of clutter these counters. So let's use this next to the stove. Maybe let's go with this light blue for a little pop of color. Or let's do the white for now. This back corner is so dark for some reason. There's even lights under the cabinet. In my kitchen, I have like a corner kind of like this, and I had to put a lamp back here. So maybe I'll do the same. Maybe it would make sense to have a little wall light right there. Okay, I found these from the cottage living pack, which I think I like a little bit better. For under here, what do we want to do? It's so dark. We could do one of these. It kind of matches like the idea of that little lamp. So I might just plop one of these guys size down. I think that's good. Okay, let's go back to cut two, us using the new clutter kit. Okay. We can have a nice little cutting board. Cutting board. That's a cookbook, babe. We could do that. Oh, the little oven mitts. I love that. And we can come in and alt place everything later because I don't want to like be building around in the rest of the house and then stuff gets deleted. So I'm laying things out, but no, we will come back and make them cuter later at the end. Okay, this stuff goes by the sink, which I think can be gorge. Don't be turned challenge. What? I just have to remind myself we're alt placing it later. Stop turning. Like, I don't want you to be diagonal like that. And then of course we just have like kitchen jar storage. These can be nice to have a bunch of. Oh, this dish drying rack. That's actually fierce. And then we'll put this on the side. Maybe this would be over here. Yeah, we'll alt place that a little bit better. I like this blue one because it's bringing in like more colors and really bringing the kitchen to life. So I think we're gonna try to use the clutter to bring a little more life into the space. Yeah, kitchen canisters. So we had, like I mentioned earlier, we had shelves like up here, and my mom had these like decorative cat shaped. There was a lot of cat decorations in our house. Cat shaped cookie jars just like lined across the top. So we definitely got to get some canisters and cookie jars on the counter at some point. And again, we're gonna alt place this stuff later, so it really gives something. Oh, I like this little hanging fruit basket. I think that'll help bring some height to the walls on this side of the kitchen. I kind of don't want these here then, but the lighting in here is whack, right? Let's get another one of these, and we'll just kind of put it above the window or the food bank. We can put them on the side where those were. This thing doesn't look as crazy because it's not so many hanging off the wall things. I also need to make sure that there is a counter, to chop up on. So maybe we can kind of clutter over in this section and just very lightly. Can they chop up over the dishwasher? I don't know, but we'll be careful about this. So we'll maybe like decorate here, and then let's put the little herbs over here, and then very lightly decorate this one. Okay, and then let's get a rug. I don't usually have a rug in my kitchen because I just feel like that's kind of weird, but I know a lot of people do. Like I want to be a rug in the kitchen girly, but I'm like, it'll just get dirty, you know? I think we need a rug that is gonna help bring like a little bit more color into the room. Not that one. Maybe this cottage living one that has like, oh, the little animals in it. I'm gonna tilt it a little bit. That way it just like feels a little bit like lived in. I don't like that. Okay, I'm sticking with no rug. All right, I can shift the door maybe a little bit. Oh, this counter is already unusable, right? Because we have the bin here. So I guess I don't have to worry about cluttering it too much. I can clutter this one a lot. So let's like move. Oh, anyway, I was thinking of moving the door and then putting this over here, but I don't like that. I also might size it down one. Yeah, that's feeling a little better. We'll just have to hope Sims can chop up on that because I want to decorate everything else. If this house ends up not being functional, then, you know, no one's gonna play in it. I'm not gonna play in it. I might play in it in my legacy challenge. I'm not gonna put it on the gallery. No one watches these videos anyway, so So, okay, I'm feeling good about this. I love this little pink kitchen. Oh, I was thinking of maybe putting a plant in here. Let's get these kind of hanging right here because these could also be kind of like, wait, there are actual the herbs. Okay, we have these, which could work in here. I do like the idea of those, but I was thinking of the ones in the tea cans. Something like that could be fierce to kind of put over here and then also like help bring some like height to these walls. And then you have the ones below that kind of match. I think that'll be a cute little corner. Maybe we just don't put anything here and I can move the door back. No, you know what? Aprons, of course. Do we want these beige ones or do we want something like a little more colorful? Because we want to bring like a little bit of something. Okay, at least the texture and the pattern, the colors go really well, but at least the texture and the pattern helps to bring like a little life. I do kind of like this pop of blue because it's got the pink, and we do have this like blue over here. That could be working. And we have this blue over here as well. And then these came in blue. Okay, I like that. Maybe we can do the blue refrigerator as well. Okay, Trans Ally. Okay, I really think we need curtains, but I can't find one that I like. I wish I could find one that was like similar to this size, but not this. Okay, these might have to do. It's hard to alt place them, but I might be able to do it, babes. I just did it, babes, but I need to adjust it. You know what? Is that gonna, you know what? I'm not gonna press my luck. That's just gonna have to be good enough. And I think the blue is bluing. I'm not sure. That matches like almost too well to the point where I'm like, it needs to be something else. You know what I mean? I think I like the blue. You know what? Let's do it. It's a little kooky and that's fine. Okay, love that. I think the refrigerator needs to go back. Okay, I am happy with that. And then, of course, again, like I said, once I go in and like alt place stuff, I think it will look a lot more put together. But we'll do that at the end. Okay, moving on to this dining space. I think for gameplay wise, it's just too small to like replicate the shelving thing that I was talking about earlier. So I think we should just make like a really nice, like modern looking dining room that has like a little bit of like, you know, I think we can just keep it simple with the curtains. Miss Desert Luxiana. And we'll just do this neutral one for right now. Okay, let us do... Okay, this room is a little small, so I'm thinking, babes, we need a round table. Maybe this beautiful one from the Refined Living Room kit. Kind of do a little bit of like offset right there, maybe. Let's find a different wood tone. I think maybe a darker wood tone in here. What are some other options? This one's nice, because it is giving, you know, country cottage core vibes. And we could do a little pop of color. Like my mom would have painted it anyway, so. But I do like how modern this one is. I do like that. Okay, because I think the wood tone on the Laundry Day stuff is just too orange and campy. Now chairs vibes. Wow. Ooh, I think I want to use the Cozy Kitsch ones because they are like a nice, like this is modern, but it's also a little bit of an homage to like the little cottage core tees. Can Sims get around this? No. Oh no, maybe we can't have... Okay, we could have the entrance to the bathroom here instead. And then we can have like a little dining nook and then we just make it smaller. Okay, I was experimenting a little bit and I think we'll have to do something like this. And I don't know, filling out all of the chairs just seems like way too many chairs. But I think Sims can get around that. And I was thinking we can just have a thing here instead of like a bathroom or a pantry. And it's just like you could store like dishes and stuff there and then we can put like clutter on top as well. Is this too many chairs? I just like don't know. And maybe since we changed the orientation of the room, we can now have like a rectangle dining table instead. But again, I have like no packs installed, so it's hard for me to find one. Let's commit to this. And then maybe the lighter chairs are nice. Something more neutral, and then again, the clutter can be what brings life to the room. Let's start with a pendant light. Probably just use Tiny Living. I think Tiny Living is fierce. And then I think maybe like a fun wallpaper as well. Or like a pop of color even. Should we use the Refined Living Room wood paneling? We could probably do something fierce back here. I guess it makes the window trim stick out too much. No, I don't really like that. These wood tones look nice together, but we have the paneling in the living area and I want to try to commit to using this, and they're like different like planks, but that does look nice. Should I pop this into the kitchen too? Maybe like this. Do I like that? Because then it's kind of like the woods match nicely, and then it's like a nice transition of like pink and then pink into this room, and then you have the beige. So maybe we start transitioning from pinks to greens in this room. That could be fierce. Just like a light, and it can just be that wall. It'd be nice if we had like this paneling but then like a blank wallpaper, similar to how like this one comes with like the same wallpaper but it's just skirting. I wish there was that option. So what if this came across like this? I guess we are leaning into very cottagecore instead of like some like modernized interior. Maybe we just embrace the cottagecorification of this house. It is a little cottage. I think in my mind I was like, I don't want it to look shabby, you know what I mean, or like old and like rustic and like too worn in. You know, that's not half bad. And I like that it kind of transitions you into that room, whereas before like it was all just like tile. I like that this kind of like transitions you into that room. Okay, I'm kind of rocking with that. And then the paneling here kind of transitions you into the paneling in here, even though they're very different colors, but there's like some bluishness to here, so I think it like all is coming together. I think it's coming together. Let's try to find some clutter for this room. Okay, I think my favorite eco lifestyle plant is an obvious choice. Let's do this little tea set maybe and place that over there. I don't really like the tray that it's on. This cake tray could be nice, and then we could also like add some plates and things, because again, like this is meant to be like a hutch, like for storage or whatever. Or we could just go like decorative vase. Maybe we go with like these plates as well. Again, I can all place things later. Oh, those can stack. That's so nice. Just gives like a little bit more color and some like texture in it being like a little bit imperfect. Oh, this little mug set is cute as well. We could put that on here. Let's do that instead of the cake stand, just for the sake of like using some of the kit. And then we can probably put a plant on here as well. And then I think this is a good room to use Miss Fiddly Fig. I think that's nice. And then we can get some art for right here, I think. These are all like food related, and this is definitely Live, Laugh, Love. Should we use it just for the campiness? And I guess the goal was like a little bit more of a modern, like reno maybe? So like, I just don't know. I can't decide like what that even means to me. Like a modern renovated cottage situation. Like I don't want it to look too like campy and rustic. I don't know. Because it's also like, this is a wallpaper. So it's like you kind of don't need art to fill up the wall because you kind of have wallpaper. Doesn't mean you can't have art, but I just feel like something like this makes it look a little too like too cottagecore to where it's like campy in my opinion. I don't know. Maybe I'm overthinking this. Maybe we do that and then like start bringing in some of the colors from the painting. That's kind of fun. That is, okay, do I like that? I'm like, it's too camp. Is that camp? I kind of like that. Okay, let's use a rug, I think, to finish this room off. Maybe something square and fuzzy will help. Me not knowing. I struggle with this in real life as well, of like how big should a rug be for a space? I mean, I have been using this rug so much lately, but it's honestly so good. I think the horizontal, I wish it was like a little bit bigger or a little bit smaller, but I think the horizontal really helps to like anchor the room. So maybe we need a rectangle rug. I kind of like the colors in this one. Let's potentially find something better. Would a square hit? That's huge. Maybe that feels a little more appropriate of a size. Okay, all of those are kind of just like taking away from how like nice the chair is. I think this one comes in some neutrals. See, like the rug is kind of taking away from like the little pops of color that we're like referencing. I don't know. Okay, I don't mind that neutral one. Okay, gorge. I'm gonna clutter and then we'll be right back. Okay, I did some cluttering and I did not paint the ceilings, and that I do think that we should. But here's what we got done today. Our beautiful, beautiful pink kitchen, inspired mostly by that time travel event pink tile from Sims 1. Using a bunch of swatches that I don't usually use. We got the new bathroom tiles as the backsplash, the new kitchen clutter kit, to help bring more color into the space. And again, just kind of going for like maybe this little cottage was renovated, modernized, and we have pink tiles on this side, our beautiful little herbs and pickles and things like that. I really like the simplicity. I wish I could find curtains that worked, but I just think I lack the proper packs to do so. And I need to paint the ceiling, do not look. And then I like this kind of wall that transitions us into the next room. Like I love that you can kind of see the colors of both rooms kind of transitioning into each other. And so coming into this dining area, again, I think if we paint the ceilings, it'll be fierce, but we have these kind of mixed matched painted chairs, again, to kind of tie in with the colors of the wallpaper, as well as this piece of artwork that we have on the wall. Oh my god, it's really trippy being in first person mode in here because it really does like remind me of like being in my childhood home. But yeah, the wood colors, I think, of the boards look great. I love the colors and kind of how you can see the colors of the room in the kitchen as well. Like there's just something really satisfying about this. And then we have just like our little hutch over here. You know, you could store like dishware and all of that, and there's that little new tea clutter. But yes, and then next time we'll try to work on the living and entry area. So the front door's right there, a little living and entry area, and then maybe even like a little working area, desk area or something. But yeah, oh my god, it's so trippy being inside of there. It so much reminds me. Yeah, I'm really happy with this. I think it came out really fierce, and I like the idea of the pink kitchen, like just something fresh and new for me, I guess. Okay, I hope you enjoyed this video. I had a lot of fun building today, and I think it ended up being fierce. I wasn't trusting the process, but it's definitely one of those things where it's like, trust the process, I fear. Exactly. Next time we're gonna try to do the living space, entryway, and maybe like a little working area. Yeah, I'm super excited about this. I think that it's looking really cool. Also, if you're interested in more builds, we do stream once again 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, United States of America on Tuesdays, vibes. So come hang out. Anyway, bye. Also, we hit 400 subscribers, which is crazy. I didn't really start posting consistently until last September, so it hasn't even been a year yet, and we went from 24 subscribers to 400. And I think in the grand scheme of social media, that doesn't seem like a lot, but to me, that's crazy. 375, 376, I guess, people. You know, like if you did like an open mic night and 400 people were there to watch you like perform, I guess, that would be nuts. So it's like, I'm trying to celebrate that win. Thank you for being here. I love The Sims and I love doing this, so thanks for subscribing.